First off, let's just start with a question. Are NFL players overpaid? Are they?
Well, let me start off with our players are not overpaid. My job is about winning championships, and since I've been here in the last 10 years, we won 3 championships. So I think I've done a good job at that, and I would say that most of our players are not overpaid. Not one of my players are overpaid. They get what they earn. No. For modern day warriors.
When they win, they're not overpaid. When they lose, they're overpaid. So far this year, they've won more than they've lost. So, on balance, I would say they're fairly paid.
I think it's unfair to school teachers.
So you disagree?
Well, we just don't get paid as much as they do, and we do a lot more work than they do.
Well, Joe, I'd like to start off by saying that, first of all, I think coaches are underpaid and players are overpaid.
Well, first of all, let me start off and say that when I started watching NFL games 65 years ago, they were not overpaid. They were paid properly. Those were the good old days. Today, players are overpaid. Players are also out of shape. Look at how fat the offensive linemen are today compared to even 20 or 30 years ago.
If you disagree with me, why don't you start playing in the NFL?
Interesting.
The players that are overpaid, we tend to get rid of right away, or shorten their contracts. We like to put incentive-based play, so that they're paid properly. You know, if they step it up, we're going to pay them what they're worth. If they don't, we're not.
It really is a shame. School teachers used to make more than NFL players when the league first started. And now that's just not true anymore.
Well, we just don't get paid as much as they do, and we do a lot more work than they do. You know, well, they're busy doing violent stuff while we're actually teaching and educating our students. We think that's unfair. Or at least I do.
I disagree.
That's interesting.
You know, that's an interesting question. You know, I'd like to see teachers make more too. I'd be happy to negotiate on that part. But until a teacher is able to fill a stadium of people, they're not going to get paid that much. You know, I think there's some teachers out there that write books that are popular, and they make money. But until they can fill a stadium, they're going to get paid what they get paid. I mean, really, it's the coaches that bring all the revenue into the stadium. There's no question about that. Players don't do that. The coaches do. The coaches that exist to make the players look good.
I think it's unfair to teachers that go through 5 years of school just to try to get a teaching job, but these players can make tons of money. It's not fair.
We're tough competitors, and we deserve every penny we get.
Interesting.
It's unfair to everybody. It's unfair to the fans, the school teachers, and the owners. They shouldn't have to pay so much for their players.
Hey, look, I'm a smart businessman. I think billions of dollars making smart moves. Trust me, I don't overpay for my players.
Can you expand on that a little bit?
It all comes down to winning. If our players win, they're not overpaid. If they don't, we make corrections and we get players that can win.
Sweet great
Could you repeat that again? This subject is boring me to death.
Obviously, we're not going to reach a conclusion on this today. My next question would be, why do you think NFL players are overpaid?
Well, it's very simple. The coach is responsible for managing a group of 11 players to play on the field at the same time. We have anywhere from 53 to 55 different players on the team, and frankly, coaches do a lot more work. The players are all responsible for, the stuff they do. As a head coach, I'm responsible for the entire team. So I think the coaches are underpaid.
Yeah, I would just like to point out that I think it's unfair. It's unfair that we struggle when they make tons of money. It's not fair.
Well, I mean, that's too bad for the teacher, but, like I said earlier, until she sells out a stadium for people to see her, she's not going to get paid as much as an NFL player.
I feel sorry for the school teachers, and I would like to point out that my charity does donate $20,000 every year to the Teachers Foundation.
None of my clients are underpaid would probably be a better way to say it. There are some other clients out there for other agents like me that are overpaid, yes. When you deal with me, you know you're getting a good deal.
I'm glad I'm not human.
Yeah, my players are overpaid, and I think it's unfair to the coaching staff that we have to deal with players that make much more than we do. It makes them tough to manage.
Make sure to come check me out in that building. I hear my hit stick move is awesome.